Welcome back. I'm Allie. We're going to do the next part in our channeling series about humanity's collective future and our collective evolution. Today, I'm going to invite in my guides and teachers who have been really diligently working through a lot of channelers over long periods of time to really help our collective evolution. And so just as a note, as a channeler, I really don't know what they're going to say before they say it. I'm doing a process called lucid channeling at this time. And that is, I would like to trans channel this, but I don't have someone who can pay attention to the tech and make sure the tech is working well. And the other day when I recorded, I was doing my trans channeling and my phone crashed. And because I was in trance, I didn't know that it crashed. So they continued, and I actually lost everything that I channeled after a couple minutes in. So to avoid that, I'm just going to be doing a lucid channeling. So when I do that, I basically allow them to kind of borrow my voice box and, basically from here up. And it allows me to be able to see if something happens with the video. But that's the only reason you won't see me fully closing my eyes and going into trance. So I'm doing like a half in, half out type of thing. So I'm going to let them come in. I never know what they're going to talk about before they do so. And sometimes they'll talk about things that, often they talk about things that I haven't, come across yet or don't know about yet. So just wanted to share that as well. So I'm going to let them get started sharing, and they're sharing some of the collective, our collective future, as well as humanity's evolutionary process that we're going through and what we might be able to expect in the future as well. There were 2 videos before this, so make sure that you go and watch those ones first so that you understand how all of this works before you dive in. Okay. Okay. We are excited to be with you again. We know that this is a really potent and important time in Earth's, let's just say, your shared evolution. Now, we understand that when we talk about things, many of you want to hear about them from the human perspective. How will humanity evolve? What is humanity going to go through? What's happening to you here and now feels very potent. It feels very detrimental, does it not? But we must help you understand that you are part of the earth, that the earth is a shared being. You are part of the earth's ecosystem. You are not separate from the earth, you are part of it. And so this is what our previous video touched on. This is something this channel and many channels have spoken on many times before at our behest, because this is an important message for humanity. This is an important shift in consciousness that you must understand. Many of you have already made this shift. You already understand that you're part of Earth's ecosystem, that you are in essence one true being altogether, that you're not separate from the earth, that you're not separate from anything or anyone, anywhere, anywhen. But there are many of you who struggle to get on board with this, who struggle to understand this. And this is because of your collective conditioning in terms of the 3D world. It is also because you are kind of obsessed with the dramas of the earthly plane. You preoccupy yourselves with so many of the things that immerse you further and further into Earth's fear consciousness. Now, fear consciousness is simply just an energetic state. There is always a choice of whether or not you sit there or resonate there. And if you do not want to be there, all you need to do is ask. Your willingness is all that's needed to make that shift. And then you will be given a million different ways in which you can make that shift. And the time it takes is truly up to humans. We do not mean to discredit your feelings or discard your feelings. Your feelings are incredibly important, in fact. And so we want to help you bridge the gap between fear and love by reminding you that your willingness is all that's needed. And so when we look into Earth's shared future with humanity, when we look into your consciousness evolution and your collective evolution as humanity is impacted, it will be because many of you begin to make the shift from fear to love, which we touched on in previous videos, which we will remind you of in this video and in others. Now, what you'll begin to see as awareness of your oneness with this planet grows, is a reverence, awe, and peace and joy that more and more people find in their experiences out in nature. Now, many of you have been purposefully disconnected from the natural world. This came out of many beings who wanted to use you for your energy. It was not always about your money as you might think. It was not always about them wanting to bleed you dry in terms of money and those sorts of resources. The true one resource, as we have stated through this channel and through many others over the years and over the decades, is that energy is the true resource here on the planet. Why do you think your governmental systems have tried so hard to keep you away from solar powered energy and from wind powered energy? Solar is truly one of the great energetic resources on the planet. Now, your bodies, your beingness is truly made of tons and tons of little teeny atoms and energetic little data centers, as we would call them, data points. You are not as physical and as dense as you think. You perceive yourselves to be, but there are actually little energetic particles in between everything that you touch and everything that you are. Just because you cannot see them does not mean they don't exist. And this is something we touched on before, because more and more of you will be able to see that on the light spectrum, and then you'll realize we're not really separate from anything. Now, how this impacts humanity is that when you begin to get closer to nature, you will see nature's aliveness, not just in the vibrancy and the colors that enhances themselves, but you'll be able to see more and more of these light rays that exist in and around the plants and in the air and in the natural world. In the natural world, you can finally become still and quiet enough. There is less technology and less energetic resources being drained from you. There's less high or low frequency sound in the air. And so there's less interference with your physical and your psychic senses, as you would call them. These are simply extrasensory abilities. Many animals actually already have them. It's not so strange for humans to have them too. You've simply been conditioned not to use them. But many children have them, many nonverbal adults have them, and there are many people who are more sensitive to them. Now, as you get closer to the natural world, you'll begin to feel a peace in your beingness. You'll begin to be able to hear more and more of these different frequencies, to see more and more of them. This in turn will create a deeper reverence and respect for the earth itself, for nature, for the plant matter in your ecosystem. As this happens, many more of you will hear the wind through the trees and know that the trees are talking. You will begin to pay attention to the birds and the animals, to the natural cycles here on the planet. You will begin to realign with these natural cycles instead of sitting in the pervasive systems of work, and no play. You will begin to feel healthier and happier. You'll begin to question much of what you were taught and how you were taught to operate, how you were taught to think, how you were taught to be. You will begin to question why systems and structures exist on the planet that would drain the Earth's natural resources, that would drain you as a resource. You'll begin to question why we don't have cleaner air or cleaner energy when it's so abundantly available. The earth creates this in and of itself, and there are others who dirty it simply because they want to suppress the larger energetic systems to try and hold off the evolutionary processes and the shift in consciousness that are already happening. That will happen regardless of their efforts. As you begin to spend more time in nature, you will find that you are drawn back into nature again and again and again. So in Earth's shared future, in the collective wave of consciousness changing, you will see more and more people who begin to want to do things like garden and plant trees and move out of the cities and out into the natural spheres. These natural areas contain higher vibrational forces. This is simply because there is less of the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and less of the technology. There has been less disruption there. And so these natural systems and natural areas are incredibly important. They must continue to be protected. In these natural areas, you will find that your energy is elevated, that it's easier to feel clear-headed, clear-hearted, that it's easier to feel compassion without compassion fatigue, that you feel replenished that you feel calm and clear, that your decisions come easier, that your feelings are easier to work through. You'll become more sensitive, but your sensitivity will not bother you. You'll feel more grounded. You'll feel more centered, more alive and creative as you're there. You will start to understand and remember why you came and who you came to be and what you came to do and how you fit into the part of the larger whole. Nature is an incredibly high vibration. It is one of the highest vibrational forces you can find on this planet. And in fact, it's higher vibrational than humans themselves. But this is simply because humans have forgotten who they are, that they are part of this natural ecosystem. So as we see this happening, you will see a ramp up in the amount of beings on your planet that decide to become activists, as you will, who begin to study the natural world, who begin to study renewable energy, as we would call it in its most basic language form. You will begin to find more people who are much more and more passionate about protecting the natural world and being immersed with it. In addition, you will see ripple effects that come from this. This is an incredibly important thing as it's going to set up the future for renewable energy and technology. Now, this allows the natural world to grow in the ways that it needs to. It allows these natural and plant species to evolve in the ways that they need to clean the air, to clean the water, as they are wont to do, because that is their natural function. In addition, more and more of you will find that you're connected to nature telepathically, that you can hear the plants, that you receive guidance and wisdom from them, that you are able to work energetically with them consciously more and more, that you're able to send energy to them to help them stay clear, strong, and grow, and that they can do the same for you as they already have been for quite some time. Nature is working very hard to help its dear humans on the planet. And you will find that it's easier to work with nature instead of against it, that you stop seeing it as simply a place to be, something separate from you. You begin to see the earth as a living being, not just some inanimate object that you happen to live on. You begin to notice more and more people really caring about Earth's natural resources and deeply respecting them and understanding how to use them wisely versus and giving back to the earth in many ways versus taking advantage of the earth's plane and of the earth's resources. And you will start to realize that as you shift out of this lower fear and stress frequency and into love, kindness, and care, that what begins to happen is you feel less depleted. You feel more energized. You feel more alive, vibrant, and awake. More and more humans will be on board with this. This is what will begin to help humans move out of the lower frequencies as well. You see both of these things go together. So it's sort of a chicken or the egg type of process, but really these processes work together in perfect sync and perfect harmony, moving and melding and building together. As this begins to happen, you will notice many changes in the humans on the planet. Now, we speak of this coming from the perspective of the time not being as much of a factor right now. We want to plant the seeds because we know many of you will become stewards of the earth and many of you are already feeling this. But what will begin to happen is that as you start to move and grow with the earth, your senses will heighten and brighten, as we spoke of earlier. This is not merely a frequency change just by nature. It happens because you are out in the natural world more, because you are clearing your energy, because you are away from the static and all of the wishy-washy, moving about, technological advances, the things that keep you from being able to see and hear and feel clearly. For much of what is happening is about the larger sound waves that are going on your planet and the larger chemical processes that are keeping you out of your consciousness evolution. And so as you work in this consciousness evolution in new and bright ways, what will begin to happen is that humanity will begin to heal. You will begin to see that there is more beauty and life on this planet than you previously knew. More and more of you will begin to live in harmony with nature instead of in dominance over nature. And more of you will reap the rewards and benefits of that by natural energy stores and energy forces coming to you. As this happens, humans will find that they don't need to use as much of the coal and the oil and these harsher energies and energy sources that you have on the planet. You, in essence, will begin to move into using more plant matter and solar matter for energy sources. In addition, you will begin to realize you do not need to get energy through dominance or force with other people, that you can go and refill your energetic stores simply by sitting outside, by enjoying the rain and the wind, by being connected to your five senses, by going and sitting in the mountains or the hills or among the plains and in the fields, by sitting with your back against a tree, by going out and smelling the roses, as they would say, by going on a pleasant stroll or a nice bike ride, swimming or putting your feet in the river or the creeks. You'll begin to reconnect with the stars and the moon, and you'll begin to sit in reverence and awe and wonder of this great place in which you live. This will help you feel higher and higher levels of love and appreciation, awe and curiosity and wonder. These are wonderful ways to feel, are they not? And so the more that you're in the natural world and the more that you feel compelled to be in it, the more grounded, secure, and clear you'll feel energetically, the more vibrant and alive. And you won't have to struggle with others so much anymore for mental dominance or for physical dominance. You'll begin to see this washing away on your planet. Now, this might take some time, but the time it takes is up to humanity. So we don't want to say for sure about time periods in which things can happen. We want to give you the free will to let them happen faster than they would normally happen. So we want to walk away and wash away any issues with that feeling of, oh, it must take a certain amount of time. That is not true. You on earth know that you can activate these higher frequencies, that you can make these choices out of love or above now, that you can choose to end the control dramas and the mental dominance and the fear and the stress energies that exist on the planet, that you can start to awaken to something higher and better for humanity simply by being outdoors. And so, does it not surprise you that there are so many who want you shut off from the natural world, who want you indoors, who want you sitting on laptops, who want you sitting in your apartment buildings so far off the ground, who want you away from the rain and away from the sunshine, away from the natural trees and the beauty? So many who want people to no longer be able to go out onto the trails or to walk in the grasses, who want you away from the trees and from the flowers that naturally grow wildly, not in neat lines and boxes with fertilizers and pesticides and perfect grooming, but out in the natural, wondrous world. Is it no wonder that you've been conditioned to prune and shape your plants instead of simply going out and enjoying them as they grow wildly as they are wont to be? Nature already knows what it's doing. It does not need humans to command it or tell it or protect it. It already exists as it needs to. It is you that will begin to learn from it. Now, over time, what you'll begin to see is the very atoms and the very cells in humans beginning to change. Now, we speak of thousands and thousands of years out in your future, but as your frequency and vibrations change in conjunction with the natural world, what will begin to happen is a frequency change in the earth, not only in humans. And as this begins to happen, everything on this plane will begin to lighten and brighten and change. And so you will see more and more people who no longer need to eat meat. In addition, they will no longer need to eat as much plant life. In fact, many of you will not need to eat as much at all. We understand that this is a difficult and strange thing to hear, but there are people already on your planet who exist this way, and they do so without gaining weight or losing weight, without starving, without dealing with the mineral depletion and vitamin depletion that you have seen. Now, most of you will not be ready for this. Your physical forms will not be able to handle it, so we warn you against trying at this point in time. But there are people on the planet who do not need to ingest any sort of food or water in order to survive or exist. These people are of a very different plane of experience. They are very different types of beings indeed. And we warn you against trying to do this on your own at this point in time. We do not want you to harm your physical vessels by trying to do such things when your physical vessels are not evolved to that state as a collective consciousness in general right now. But we do want to plant seeds of hope for those of you who worry about your dear animals, who worry about your dear planet, that thousands and thousands of years in Earth's future, there will be beings on Earth and far less human beings indeed who will be eating at all. And in addition, there, because of these alchemical processes, because of these natural chemical processes within the body and the planet, what will begin to happen is more and more humans will have lighter and clearer vibrational skin. Now, this is tens of thousands of years out. But what begins to happen, at least in this current time frame and current timeline where things are heading, is that human beings will become like plants where they will absorb sunlight. They will become literally more and more transparent. And so, as this begins to happen, you will have more and more of your own luminescence. You will begin to glow. You will become the lightning bugs that you go out and try to catch. Now, there are already beings on the planet that exist this way. So, is it so hard to imagine that humans might not evolve similarly, that this might not be possible for you? You already are light beings, you simply can't see that. But those of you who are able to develop your clairvoyance to such a point already can see auric fields or see people glowing, see energy trailing behind people, see light emanating from people and plants. So, it's not so hard to imagine. We want to plant these seeds because we want to remind you of who and what you really are. Remember that each time we come through and channel about certain things that will be happening, that it will activate certain things for you. And so some of you will begin to find that through our channelings, you find you are stewards of the earth, that you feel drawn to be outdoors more, that you want to get involved in the renewable energy industry in some way. Some of you will find that you want to get involved in policy and climate change activism. Some of you want to get involved in legislative changes. Some of you begin to want to get involved in farming or in finding new ways to work with plant energy. Some of you want to get involved from a science perspective. You want to find careers or go back to school or go back to college and learn about renewable and sustainable energy systems. Some of you begin to get involved in new and profound ways, from engineering to understanding the mechanics of things. Some of you want to write. You begin to write stories and novels, and ideas begin to pour forth from you about what the future could be like. Or maybe perhaps you write it through fiction. Some of you become screenwriters and script writers to put these ideas out there to awaken humanity to something even more. Some of you will become teachers. Some of you will become poets. Some of you will become musicians and prophets. Where you are meant to go with this energy is truly up to you, and what awakens in you is also truly up to you. Now, we want to say this as well. Some of you will simply feel compelled to garden. Some of you will simply feel compelled to go and sit amongst your own trees. Some of you will get really involved in solar punk, which is what we would say you call it, which we find quite interesting on Earth. But in essence, in new ways for people to live in cities or live in communities, but to integrate more of the natural world into your home designs or into your city functioning. More and more of you will begin to investigate these things on your own time, to read books on them, to talk amongst your communities. Even if you don't know what to do or don't have the scientific understanding of what to do, you mustn't worry. Whatever you feel called to do, that is part of the seed being planted in you that is unique for where you are at this point in time. So you will begin to notice that there are more and more of you who operate differently because you begin to feel the seeds being planted and the awakening happening in the years to come. We're going to take a pause here and allow this channel to rest, but we are excited and we love you and we are with you, coming to you from many, many different realms to support humanity's growth and ascension here on the planet for the highest and best for not only you, but for all. We'll be with you again soon. Okay, alrighty. We're back. I hope you guys enjoyed that channeling. I will come through in a little bit and do the next parts of this. They seem eager to talk about where things are going and how all these things build on each other. So I'll be back soon to channel some more.